The old cinema, a towering structure with cracked plaster and faded posters, had long been a staple of the town. It was less a theater now and more a relic of a forgotten era, swallowed by the ensuing darkness of time and neglect. It stood at the edge of town, cloaked in shadows, with a sagging marquee that whispered tales of the past. To the townsfolk, it was a place of ghosts, ghosts of laughter and romance that had echoed through its halls, but now lay buried beneath layers of dust and decay. It was in the winter of 1978 when a group of 4 friends, Eli, Sam, Jenna, and Mark, decided to explore the cinema for themselves, lured by tales of something strange hidden within its confines. They had heard whispers of unaired movies, films that were never shown to audiences, those which were supposedly cursed or carried secrets too dark to be embraced by the light. "What's the worst that could happen?" Eli said, his bravado cracking the tension that gripped the group. The others followed reluctantly, with Jenna taking the lead, driven by an insatiable curiosity. The cinema loomed larger as they approached, and a frostbitten wind whispered through the broken windows, as if warning them of the horrors that awaited inside. The heavy door creaked reluctantly, and darkness spilled forward. The air was cold but filled with an unsettling warmth that sent shivers down their spines. Inside, the cinema had been ravaged by time. The chairs slumped like old men forgotten in a nursing home, and the screen was a tattered veil, ready to unveil unraveling nightmares. The sweet smell of mold mixed with the stale popcorn remnants of yesteryears lingered, creating a suffocating atmosphere. "Let's just check the projection room." Jenna's voice trembled with excitement as she led the charge up the dimly lit staircase. The projection room, with its forgotten tools and flickering lights, was rumored to hold the films they sought. Dust motes danced around them, illuminated in fleeting shafts of light. As they entered, the flickering projector seemed to hum with life, and their hearts raced with exhilaration and dread. There, neatly stacked in an old dusty cabinet, they found a series of faded reels labeled with cryptic titles. "This is it," Mark whispered, his fingers brushing over the first canister. "These are the unaired movies." Quote, each film was wrapped in a dark aura, a palpable heaviness that stung as they lifted the first canister from its resting place. A sense of foreboding draped over them like an ominous cloud as they set the projector rolling. The whirring of the machine filled the room, and the screen flickered to life, revealing grainy footage of an old town, eerily familiar but somehow different. The first few minutes transpired without incident. Mundane scenes of a bustling town square, families gathered and children played. The friends relaxed, the tension easing, until the film began to warp. Flat, featureless faces began to emerge from the grain, and faint sounds echoed, panicked whispers clawing their way to the surface. The town depicted in the film took a sinister turn. Shadows darted through the streets, and the laughter twisted into wails. "What the hell is this?" Sam's voice trembled, his face ashen. But the others were entranced, their minds swept away into the chilling allure of the screen. As if in response to a silent invocation, the projector began to skip frames, blurring the lines between film and reality. The friends found themselves ensnared in the reel's magic, unable to tear their gaze away. They felt echoes of the townsfolk's fear, a bone-deep terror rising like a tide. The film flickered violently, revealing macabre scenes of the town's demise, flooded streets, flames licking the sky, spectral figures dragging the last of its citizens into the embracing darkness. It became unbearable, their hearts pounding against their ribs in sync with the crescendo for a nightmarish ending that beckoned ever closer. Suddenly, Jenna screamed, pointing at the screen. A shadowy hand reached forth from the celluloid, slipping through the veil of silence, twisting and curling like mist. The hand tore through the fabric of reality, reaching for them, and with it came the anguished faces of those lost within the frame. "Turn it off! Turn it off!" Sam shrieked, but they were paralyzed as the figures began to claw their way out, thin lips cracked in screams that resonated in their minds, mouths agape but soundless, like cries for help that would never be answered. Eli lunged for the projector, and with a desperate swipe, he killed the power. Silence enveloped them, but the room was thick with an aftertaste of dread. The friends were left panting, fear gnawing at their insides, shadows shivering in the corners of their minds. "What was that?" Mark gasped, but the answer hung suffocatingly in the air. "We have to go." Jenna breathed heavily, and they stumbled down the stairs with their hearts in their throats. However, as they reached the exit, the door slammed shut, caught by a force unseen, echoing with finality. The friends spun around, panic cascading in waves as they heard a familiar whirring behind them. The projector had restarted itself, drawing them back into the unyielding abyss it held captive. They were met by the unfurling shadows, 100 faces, 1,000 wails resonating in an everlasting cycle, ensnared between life and the screams of unearthed memories. The darkest of films, untold, living forever in the flickering light, waiting for new viewers, new recipients to share their cursed tales. And so, the old cinema continued to stand, its doors closed to the world, harboring within its walls a nightmarish collection of films and the souls of 4 unsuspecting friends. And as the townsfolk continued to whisper about the films never aired, they remained oblivious to the real horror that lurked within.